And DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us live on the story. Hi, Akshay. A very good afternoon to you. Akshay, we all know what happened in the past few hours. What's the latest that you're tracking on this?
Well, the latest as far as the entire saga of Maduro being arrested and being flown to the US to be tried in US court under US laws by US judges is that as of now there is a lot of movement happening around the world as far as the grasping this situation is concerned. We have a few countries like China, Russia, Colombia, some Brazil, countries who have criticized the sort of kidnapping, and we will call it kidnapping because it is kidnapping by a country and their military of another country's sovereign president that was ruling the country. In fact, after the kidnapping of Maduro, he has been taken to the US to be tried, and the sort of rules that are there in the UN Charter, the international rules that persist and that keep the world running in an impartial manner, those have been shattered once again by the United States and especially now with President Donald Trump coming out in the open to display how might is right as far as the situation is concerned. There are countries in the European Union that are right now evaluating the action that has been taken, and then there are countries in the other parts of the world that are seeing this entire situation with quite a lot of horror. As of now, what we are hearing from the Vice President is that of Venezuela is that she is going to protect the natural resources of the country. That includes the biggest proven reserve of oil that was attracting the United States, and the US had its eyes on the reserves for a very long time. The Venezuelan government at this point in time is being taken over by the Vice President of the country. But what we are also hearing from the US is that they also effectively want to run the government and install a pro-US company sort of a leader there. And from anything, if we have learned from Cuba, where the US has tried the same tactic, is that it may backfire with people rising up against the companies of another country if they try to sort of exploit the natural resources of that region.
Right. Akshay, also there are different reactions coming from the world leaders, and some world leaders are saying that whatever happened was right, but there are some other countries who are saying that it's not right, including China. So what's the latest in that?
Well, if you look at, there will obviously be, claims that, or rather support to the US. Some countries like Israel are clearly standing in support of the action that was taken, but that also has to include, it is not happening in vacuum. You also have to take into account that Venezuela is a country that supported Iran, that supported Hamas, and supported sort of the Palestinian state solution as well. So Israel already had a strained relation with Venezuela. So anything that has happened against Maduro is going to be welcomed by Israel. Other countries that are most important to watch are the European countries, because they are allies of the US, they are part of NATO, but also they are trying to act against Russia for trying to invade Ukrainian territory. But now they are in a jeopardy, they are in a dilemma situation, because they are fighting Russia on one hand, and the other hand they have to justify similar kind of or even worse kind of actions by their own ally, that is the United States of America. That is in fact the biggest participant in terms of military and economy to the NATO membership. So they are in a sort of a dilemma, and many of the hypocrisy of not only the US media but also many of the American allies are being exposed, because they were questioning Russia, they questioned China, but when it comes to US and US taking even worse actions, then there is a pin drop silence on that issue.
Absolutely, and also this is not something new for the United States, Akshay, but we leave it there. Thank you so much for all these updates. Thank you so much.